Yeah, absolutely. And, talking about AI replacing jobs, right? Microsoft just launched Agent 365, basically agents baked straight into Teams, Outlook, Excel, the whole stack, right?
Mm.
Which kicks off the obvious question. If you're a small to medium business today, what are the actual best AI tools to run your company on, right? Microsoft, Google, Anthropic, OpenAI, they're all competing for the same seat. And I think we spoke about this just before. So, what's your perspective on that? Because essentially, companies are having to kind of bet on the stack.
Yeah.
Because if something so influential, so game changing comes out in 6, 12, 18 months, and they're kind of being forced to drop their stack and move elsewhere.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think I've been quite underwhelmed, I would say, by what Microsoft's achieved over the last couple of years for their
Yeah.
any public releases. I mean, Copilot fell flat on its face for a lot of responses from businesses, and they're not happy with it at all. And considering that they're, quite a majority interest in OpenAI, which has 900 million users globally, I would have expected them to have taken hopefully some of that learning or worked with Sam Altman or the agreement that they've got with Anthropic, because you've now got Claude in Excel and all these different tools, to bake that into their native stack as well. What I would
Yeah.
say for the everyday business owner is, yes, unfortunately, at the moment, you are locked into a particular stack. And that's where, if you are on the Microsoft sort of bandwagon versus the Google bandwagon, however you want to phrase it, overall, I think Google is probably, well, not even close, leading in that space. They've got Nano Banana, they've got anti-gravity, they've got Gemini, some of the leading models, all these different parts being baked into their tools. So I think Microsoft do have some catching up to do. That doesn't mean that there aren't bad versions of it. You can still get some all right outputs from Copilot. You can now plug in tools into Microsoft, Word, like we saw, Excel with Claude. So I think the native stack for 365 definitely has some catching up to do versus G Suite, but it just comes down to the specialist tools again.
Yeah. So if we were to do a mini tier list, let's just say the top three for businesses to implement to bet their stack on, right? Bet their livelihood on for the next 6 months. How would you rank that? I know I'm putting you on the spot a bit for that, but how would you? What does your brain go to for that?
Again, it goes back to that business problem that we're actually solving. I think a lot of people jump to the tools, but if we were looking in the market at the moment, I mean, there's Claude is absolutely fantastic for a lot of different use cases, sounds incredibly human for the responses that you get back. They've now got the managed agents for the automation, so it's great to go down that rabbit hole. For image generation, I think Nano Banana 2 is still fantastic from Google. You can use that on a variety of different, platforms, including AI Studio within Google to get some marketing materials. The text is now really good. The photorealistic can be pretty good. So I would look at that. The video generation as well. I mean, Seedance 2 came out recently. So we're able to use that. Sorry, Seedream. Seedance or Seedream? I can never remember the difference.
See dance.
Yeah, Seedance, I think is the video. Seedream is the video, isn't it? Sorry, the image. That's really good for the video point of view as well. I mean, you can now add reference, images as well as almost like animation flows. So if you wanted to do a particular walk or stuff like that, it's fantastic. I know your background is in marketing as well for some of the use cases there. I mean, HeyGen to help automate some of the social media, absolutely fantastic if you want to use that as well. There's so many different tools to list off. You've got Gamma, which is a really nice quick win for turning on automated PowerPoint generation, if you want to do that as well. So again, what's the business problem you're solving? What's a quick win tool that you could use? What's your thoughts though? Are there any that you find that day-to-day are gravitating towards or deliberately avoid, should we say?
Yeah, I mean, like I was hoping, I knew you'd give me a caveat answer, so I'm not surprised at the answer you gave. And it is the correct answer. I'm not going to lie. It is the
Yeah.
correct, responsible answer to give. But in terms of my tech stack right now, I mean, Claude is obviously number one in my books right now. In terms of image and video, the Google is absolutely killing it, like you said. Nano Banana 2 is what I'm using on a daily basis when I want to create thumbnails, when I want to create any visual asset. So Google would definitely be in my second spot for usability. And then OpenAI is just kind of like my third backup, I guess you could say. So that's kind of how I would be ranking them personally. Uh, but I want to mention something which I think is kind of crazy with this whole Microsoft Agent 365 thing, which is they're giving AI agents employee badges. Now, what that means is a bit murky, but what I'm gathering from that is clear responsibility and access. And I want your opinion on the cybersecurity component of this and how you think this will play out.
I can imagine the employees weren't too happy to hear that it was being named exactly the same. I could imagine from a CIO, CSO sort of point of view in the background is probably because of permission levels, just to make it easier to control what the agents have access to, how they run through and do it. I mean, it's nothing new, right? We're giving agents personas to complete a specific task. Claude's been
Yep.
doing it for ages. You could customize it with ChatGPT. You can do it with the open source models. I look at it as just, like we said a couple of times, is just how do we get the specialist agents to complete specialist jobs? We'll give them a badge, we'll give them a name. I'm sure that there's some pleasing to the AI gods of the future, right? For we're treating you as equals. So be interesting to see how it plays out, that whole agent sphere. I mean, Google's been promising releases of agents and updated versions, and they do have some fantastic ones. So it'd be interesting to see how they compete.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to get into this too much, but the social implications of, making AI agents employees in some type of equal capacity, I'm sure that's going to ruffle some feathers for certain people. Like for me, I'm not precious about these types of things. But, a lot of people have a lot of ownership and pride in their job, and rightly so.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it could ruffle some feathers and make a lot of people upset.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see where that goes. But another really interesting thing that I've
Sorry,
noticed recently. Oh, no,
just
go.
on that point, and just to expand on that as well, I think it'd be really interesting to see the global implications of the legislation for that as well, right? So
Yep.
one of the major advantages of AI is it's not got that FTE, the full-time equivalent cost at the moment for headcount, vacation, all of these different parts that you need. So if you're then classing it as an employee, and then we have AGI at some point, does that then mean the holiday needs, the AI needs 2 weeks off a year to go on holiday to be switched off? Does it mean that you then need a, 20% tax on that employee for the future? I know they talked about that for the AI, replacement